The Alex Jones case is really interesting. It's a straight up First Amendment case. So he was just ordered to pay over $900 million to the families of Sandy Hook. And he owns a radio show, runs a radio show, questions events, and then now gets sued by the families for the things he said on a show. So Barack Obama passed the Freedom of Information Act, which kind of gives people, if you read the Freedom of Information Act, it kind of gives radio show hosts the ability to lie. So people get things wrong on the news all the time. All the time. ABC got caught running what seemed to be a fake story. They said there was a event in Syria and happened to be in Kentucky, and they were blacking out the footage to make it look like it was in Syria, and they were showing up these things getting blown up, and they were passing it off as the war in Syria. They had to run a retraction. They ran it like 4 times. Most people don't even know about this story. It just kind of flies under the radar. And they never got in trouble. The families of these victims in Sandy Hook filed a lawsuit against Alex because they were hurt from saying that he was spreading these rumors. Now, I watched the show from 2012 on. I watched Alex show, and what's so interesting about it is people were criticizing Alex on the conspiracy side. We all think Alex is a shill. We all think Alex works for the bad guys. No, I don't. I kind of understand how things work behind the scenes. He just doesn't want to get sued like this. So then he doesn't say certain things, or he says certain things in certain ways because he knows he's going to be the bad guy. And then with the bad guys, they're going to turn him to the bad guy. So he knows how the game works. So he's trying to, and he also doesn't know. We don't know what happened on that event. Now, usually when there's events like that, the people sue the government. The school would sue the government. The government gets sued more than anybody in the history of the world. And in this case, they're suing the radio show for bringing up anomalies. Now, you want things to get better in the future, so questioning things, so then therefore in the future, we cannot have the same result, so we can fix what the problem was, is usually a good thing. That's usually what people hope for. And in this case, they don't want you questioning or making the families feel bad in any way. So there's a guy in Florida whose his daughter was killed in a school shooting, and he sued the school. His sons called into Alex's show. His sons were listeners to Alex's show, and they were like, "We understand what you're saying when you say the things you say, Alex, and we agree with you." And their daughter, the guy's daughter died, their sister died, and they wrote a book about how the government was basically responsible for killing the girl, for not taking preemptive actions for the school shooting. It's really interesting. It's a really sad situation, and but the fact that people are using this as a political smokescreen, as they call it, as a political issue, not both sides just saying, hey, how can government do a better job? This is a government institution. We seem to not question government very hard. We seem to give government a break. We don't even really understand that school shootings from the public sector, public schools, happen all the time. And then private schools, rarely ever. It's rarely ever at a private school, every once in a while. But at a public school, it's all the time. Oh, and you're not allowed to question it. You're not allowed to say, hey, maybe the government could do a better job. Now, you can look into what Alex said, and you can judge for yourself or make him enemy number one, because he does say the government stages events to then bring us into wars. What he was saying is the government was doing this so then they can take away our guns. He said he thought it happened. He said he thought it happened a bunch of times. Most people that look into it thought it happened. There was just some weird things with it that made him question it. But you can look into that. Oh, wait, you're not really allowed to. You're not allowed to. It's not. It's taken off the internet. It's not on the news. You're not really allowed to look into it. And that's the free speech aspect. That's where you have news reporters not allowed to report the news anymore. They're not allowed to do investigative journalism. Investigative journalism is when you go ask questions. The coroner at this school event was asked a bunch of hard questions by reporters, and he couldn't answer not hard questions, easy questions. He was asked very simple questions by reporters the next day, and he couldn't answer the questions. Or he did, and it was weird answers. And then people started asking questions about the questions they were asking the coroner because the coroner didn't have answers. And it was on the news, and people have talked about it, and it was very interesting. And then all of a sudden, it was just a couple years later, the more it went on, the more people questioned it, the more they made it all about don't question it, don't hurt people's feelings for this result, don't bring it up. But don't blame the government, blame the news reporter. Blame the news reporter for wanting to maybe look into things to see if we can do better next time. That's what the news people are here to do. They're here to report the news to you, and we're archiving things so then therefore we can do better next time. Or at least that's what I think they're doing. This is a very curious case of free speech, and free speech has died. It's over, guys. It's over. It's over. Maybe Alex has something up his sleeve. We don't know. But it seems to be over. It's this is the last of it, the last of knowing what happens and how it happened. We'll never know. We'll have to just trust government. And good luck with that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. We're just gonna have to accept it, whatever they give us. That's it. That's how it works when free speech dies. Free speech is dead.